Are you ready to unlock the secret to growth in your business? Jupiter, the planet of expansion, luck, prosperity, and abundance, holds the key. And in this episode, I'm going to help you pinpoint the growth opportunities for your business based on the placement of Jupiter in your astrology chart. So if you're serious about taking your business to the next level, this is an episode that you don't want to miss. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, I'm Sophia Palace. I help online entrepreneurs access the ancient wisdom and power of astrology to help them to shortcut their way to success and satisfaction in their business. And today we are exploring the planet Jupiter. This is the planet of expansion, abundance, and growth. I'm going to show you how to leverage that placement of Jupiter in your natal chart to identify the best growth opportunities for your business. Wherever you're at in your business evolution, understanding Jupiter's influence can be a game changer. Let's dive in. First up, let's understand a bit more about the planet Jupiter. In traditional astrology, Jupiter is referred to as the greater benefic. It is the planet that is associated with positive things generally. It's associated with things like abundance, success, and growth. But Jupiter's gifts aren't necessarily handed to us on a silver platter. You need to find these opportunities and work with them for the greatest impact. And you need to know where to look to align with Jupiter's energy. In your birth chart, symbolically, Jupiter is showing you where you have the potential for most growth, where you have the potential for wisdom, where you have the potential to experience more abundance and success. It's showing you where you might find opportunities for expansion, whether that's in your finances, your relationships, or your overall business strategy as well. And if we're looking at a business chart, Jupiter is going to show us places where we can expand our business. Again, Jupiter shows you where the opportunities are. Your success lies in your ability to recognize and work with those opportunities. So how do you find Jupiter in your chart? And what does it mean for your business? Well, first of all, you need to locate Jupiter in your birth chart. If you're watching the YouTube version, I'm going to show you what Jupiter looks like. If you haven't seen it in a birth chart before, you're going to want to know the symbol for Jupiter to look at it in your birth chart, or you can just get a breakdown even in a free astrology report. I will link to the way that I recommend you set up your astrology chart in the show notes. You'll want to note the sign of Jupiter in your chart, the house that it's in, and any significant aspects Jupiter is making with other planets. Now, we're not going to go into the detail behind the aspects today. That's something that I really recommend you discuss with an astrologer, or you have a session with me to go deeper into this. But each of these elements, the sign, the house, and the aspects, are going to provide huge clues to you about where and how you can best harness Jupiter's energy in your business. Firstly, let's talk about the signs, and I am going to give a brief description of how Jupiter plays out in each of the 12 zodiac signs to give you this insight into the style and approach you should take when you're looking for that growth and expansion. So Jupiter in Aries, growth for you comes through bold, independent action. This might mean that you take the lead on new initiatives, or you're first to market with a new idea. That's that kind of going first Jupiter energy here. Jupiter in Taurus means growth comes to you through steady, long-term activities and investments. So you want to focus on building sustainable structures, working with tangible assets, or businesses related to beauty, finance, or the earth. Those are places you can find growth if you have Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter in Gemini, growth comes to you through communication, adaptability, networking. Opportunities may come to you through teaching, learning, and connecting with others. Jupiter in Cancer, growth comes to you through nurturing relationships and creating emotionally secure environments. So you might find you expand through family-based ventures even, real estate. Jupiter in Cancer is great with real estate, or businesses that focus on some sort of care and support or are centered on the home in some way. Jupiter in Leo, growth is going to come for you through self-expression, creativity, leadership, those Leo traits. Success comes when you step into the spotlight in some way and showcase your unique talents. I should say that I have episodes on the energy of the zodiac signs in my zodiac business series. So if you want to go deeper into, for instance, Leo energy, Cancer energy, Gemini energy, it's all there for you in the zodiac business series playlist, which I will link to. If you're watching on YouTube, I will pop a card for you. I will also link to it in the show notes if you're listening to the podcast version. Okay, Jupiter in Virgo, growth comes to you through service, through precision, through providing practical solutions or finding practical solutions. This placement is going to favor developing systems, improving efficiencies, focusing on details that are going to help your business to thrive. If you have Jupiter in Libra, growth comes to you through partnerships and collaborations. You find opportunities when you form strategic alliances and work towards creating harmony, creating balance in your business in some way, and joining forces with people who share your values. Jupiter in Scorpio, you're going to find growth through transformation, through deep connections, and risk-taking. So you may expand by diving into areas that involve shared resources, investments, and also uncovering hidden psychological blocks and issues and hidden potential in people. Remembering Scorpio is about everything that's beneath the surface. So it could and it can relate to finances, but it can also relate to psychological issues, delving into the depths of transformation and really deep interpersonal connection as well. Jupiter in Sagittarius, this is Jupiter in its home sign. It is growth through exploration, education, expanding your horizons. This is really great if your business is in the fields like travel, teaching, philosophy, spirituality, or some sort of global outreach. Jupiter in Capricorn, this is growth through discipline. This is growth through structure, long-term planning, focus on setting clear goals and working strategically to build a stable foundation for success. Like this is almost Jupiter operating in a very Saturnian way, but really developing that structure is where you will find growth. Jupiter in Aquarius is growth through innovation, growth in technology, growth through breaking away from the norm in some way. Embracing unconventional ideas is really important for your expansion. Seeking opportunities in group dynamics or future-focused industries are also great places to find expansion. Jupiter in Pisces, this is another one of its home signs, and Jupiter here is very much about growth through intuition, creativity, and compassion. So you may find success in a business that allows you to work in flow, engage with your imagination, and really focus on healing and spirituality and connectivity and that kind of thing. So that is a run through of Jupiter through the signs. Now let's talk about Jupiter through the houses, which adds another layer of nuance and complexity in your astrology chart, and you can go a little bit further with this. So the house placement of Jupiter tells you the area of life where you're likely to experience the most growth. So the sign placement tells you how you go about, like the style and approach you should take when seeking growth. And the house is telling you the area of life or business where you're likely to experience the most growth. And if you want a rundown of the houses, I recommend you listen to my episode or you watch my episode on the 12 houses of the business astrology chart, which I will link to and pop a card to for, more on each of these sort of topic areas for potential growth. I just want to give you a couple of examples of how these connect, the sign and the house placement may connect for you. If you, for instance, have Jupiter in Aries in the 10th house, because you've got Jupiter in Aries, your growth potential, as we talked about, lies in these bold, independent actions. And when it's placed in the 10th house of public reputation, business, career, public life, this energy is going to be amplified in the way that you approach your professional path and your business or public reputation, right? So the 10th house governs your status and how you're seen in the world. So this placement of Jupiter urges you to take on leadership roles, push boundaries, be the first to initiate new projects or ideas in your industry. It's encouraging you to be a leader, to stand out in some way in your industry, in your public reputation. Growth is going to come for you when you embrace that inner pioneer, that Aries Jupiter, taking risks that are going to set you apart as a trendsetter, as someone who is forging their own path rather than following established paths. In business, this might mean becoming an innovator in your field, creating something completely new, or building a personal brand or a business brand that really reflects this kind of fearless or courageous approach to the next challenge. Another example of how this might play out for you is if you have Jupiter in Gemini and it's in the 6th house. So with Jupiter in Gemini, your growth is tied to communication, versatility, learning. And when it's placed in the 6th house, which is the house related to work, health, daily routines, employees, systems, processes, that kind of thing, these qualities are going to manifest in your day-to-day operations. So the 6th house is about how you approach your work environment and your service to others. So with Jupiter in Gemini there, this placement is ideal for growth through networking, through connecting, through even multitasking and continuous learning, this idea of continuous learning. So you thrive when you have opportunities to share ideas, to engage with different perspectives and adapt to new information, particularly in an online business setting where this kind of communication and flexibility are key. And so these kind of opportunities to share ideas and connect with different perspectives is going to help you expand your business through potentially creating new systems and processes and technologies and developing your skills and creating a work environment where exchanging ideas and collaborating with others and connecting with others are central, because this is where your growth happens, through those connections. So you're going to want to make that a part of your daily life, make that a part of your daily work life. It's a placement that's going to encourage you to evolve by staying curious with that Gemini energy and open to change in the way that you do things on a day-to-day basis, in the people that you connect with, in the people that you work with, in the habits and processes and systems that you have in place in your business. If you want another rundown of how Jupiter shows up in each of the 12 houses, I would also recommend you listen to my Jupiter in Gemini episode, because Jupiter is currently in Gemini, and I walk through how this type of Jupiter shows up in each of the 12 houses, and it might give you a further insight into what's going on for you and how your Jupiter might be interacting as well. The next step in this process of understanding your growth opportunities in business is to look at Jupiter and the aspects it's making to other planets. And I'm not just talking about the aspects it's making in your birth chart. I'm also talking about the aspects it's making to the planets where they are right now in the sky. Aspects like trines or sextiles, these are considered harmonious or helpful, potentially helpful aspects or opportunity type aspects. And so if you have these aspects with Jupiter in your birth chart, it can show you areas where growth or expansion might come more easily. For instance, maybe you have a nice connection, a sextile or a trine between the moon and Jupiter, meaning that your emotions and your subconscious processing and your emotional fulfillment is in alignment with where you are seeking growth. It's connected. It's connected in this harmonious flow with Jupiter, the planet of growth, and therefore helping you to identify opportunities more easily. If you have squares or oppositions to Jupiter, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but they can bring up a little bit of a challenge or friction. And often when it comes to Jupiter, the planet of expansion, when we have a challenging aspect like an opposition or a square with Jupiter, it can bring up places where we might overdo things. Because Jupiter is the planet of expansion, a challenging aspect like a square or an opposition can mean that the expansion is a little too much. It can mean that we find a little bit of friction or a little bit of discomfort with expansion, and we need to work with this energy a little more proactively so that it doesn't get out of hand. So for instance, a Mars Jupiter square could mean that you actually have a lot of energy and it needs to be channeled in a productive way. Jupiter is activating your Mars, your energy, your drive, your motivation, and that can be a great thing, but it might mean that you overdo things. Maybe you overwork, maybe you overestimate your ability to get things done, that kind of thing. And those are really good things to be aware of. Obviously, we can't dive into all of the aspects today, but I want to give you another example of how this might play out with a transit as well. So when I'm talking about transits, I'm talking about where the planets are in the sky right now and how they might be impacting on your natal Jupiter placement. When your natal Jupiter is affected by transits, it's often signaling a time when opportunities for growth, expansion, or abundance are heightened. There's something here that's activating or triggering your Jupiter. So these are really important cycles to understand, especially in business, because you can really work with them. And I love to work with these aspects when it comes to, client launches. You're putting out a new product or a service or an offering in some way. It's great to do that when your Jupiter is getting a lovely beneficial connection from a planet that's moving through the sky. So the nature of that transiting planet is going to influence how these opportunities show up, where you might feel the most, what house of your chart are they moving through, and also, what aspect are they making to your Jupiter. So for example, if we've got Venus, which is another what's considered benefic planet, a planet of positive benefit for the most part, connecting with your natal Jupiter, this could be fantastic for business. This could leave you feeling a surge of optimism, confidence, and even extra luck in terms of your relationships, finances, or creative projects, because Venus is our planet of relationships. It's our planet of connection, planet of beauty, art, creativity in some ways. And so when it comes to the Jupiter, and Jupiter is that planet of expansion, we're going to feel this boost in those parts of our life and business. So this can also bring about some more moments of harmony and ease, because Venus loves a harmonious connection. It loves to bring that kind of beautiful balance back into things. And so this could be a great time to focus on enhancing your network, enhancing your business partnerships, or even enhancing your brand's appeal, like using that Venus energy to enhance your brand aesthetic in some way. A Venus-Jupiter connection could also encourage you to seek out experiences that bring you more pleasure in business, that bring you more joy, fulfillment, because both of these planets have a connection to pleasure and abundance, enjoyment, prosperity, all of that stuff. So in business, this could manifest as, opportunities to grow your audience, attract new clients, or potentially even have a beautiful event for your business, something like that. Maybe it's a retreat, maybe it's a conference, maybe it's something where you're getting people together and really loving on each other. That is a great way to use this Venus-Jupiter aspect. It is also a time when your charisma, your natural charisma and magnetism are amplified. So you might find that other people are more drawn to your offers. You might find that, launching is more easeful, collaborating with others, connecting with others comes more easily, or simply you're just feeling more inspired by your work, particularly if this is playing out in a work or business house for you. This could be playing out for you in a more personal part of your chart, but it's important to know that if it's playing out in a business part of your chart, well, that's amazing for your business and you can really take advantage of that opportunity. And the Venus-Jupiter aspect is the prime time to capitalize on that abundant energy around you. These aspects don't happen every day. It might only happen once or twice a year. So it's really good to know when those are going on. That is the kind of thing we would work through together in a longer strategy session where we're really diving deep into what's going on for you across the next 6 months to the year. So I would encourage you to look at where your Jupiter is, what sign it's in, what house it's in, what aspects it's making, to really connect with what is driving your growth, what is driving your expansion. Where do you have an opportunity for greater abundance and fulfillment as well? And both the moon and Jupiter can help you to understand your fulfillment in business, particularly. So we've covered Jupiter today. I will do a deeper dive into the moon. I have already got a moon episode and I will link to that as well, because I think it's really important that when you're looking at growth, you not only look at, how am I growing and expanding from this external sense, but how am I also tending to my fulfillment internally? And that's what the moon is going to show you. like we've covered today, Jupiter's energy is all about expansion, but it is up to you to tap into its potential and align it with your business goals. So understand where Jupiter is in your chart, apply its energy strategically, and you will uncover more opportunity for growth and set your business on a path to greater abundance. So now that you know about how to spot growth opportunities, I would love it if you would take your brand identity to the next level and check out my video on how your chart ruler shapes your brand and sets you apart in business. So that would be the next step you could take after watching this video. It will be coming up for you next.